So today we're celebrating my mum starting Karma Nirvana 25 years ago, being part of Karma Nirvana for most part of her life. I was 8 in fact when Karma Nirvana started, so it's been in my life pretty much, it's always been there. And I'm just so incredibly proud of my mum and proud of everything that she's achieved, everything that she's had determination and courage to fight for. She's just such a remarkable woman, and I'm proud that through everything that we've been through as a family, because it has been difficult, growing up in a single parent family with younger siblings where I've had to level up and help at home, and I've been really proud that I've been able to do that as well. So I suppose in terms of what today means for me, it's such a huge celebration of everything that she stands for and everything that she's achieved. It's just been momentous. So when my mum first had this idea about Karma Nirvana and wanting to set it up, I remember mum rallying a few people round at home, talking about these issues, talking about them with such passion and conviction that she managed to get other people on board. And she actually then used to teach the aerobic classes to try and engage more people to talk about these issues. And I remember being a child, being sat at the back of the aerobic hall with all the other children, being the minder actually of the other women that would come to the classes and their children. So I have fond memories of that. But also I have memories of growing up where mum would have to work long hours. She'd have to go out to really talk about these issues because they needed to be spoken about, and nobody else had the courage to do so. And she was there kind of paving the way. And as a family, that made us exceptionally close because we only really had each other, and me, my brother and my sister are really close for that experience as well, and really are proud of my mum and everything that she has achieved. I think, today, we're 25 years on now, she has really given so much of her. She's given most of her life to Karma Nirvana. And I'm just so proud really of everything that she stands for and that she stands for other people. I think it takes somebody with huge courage, bravery, somebody that really wants to make a difference for others. And my mum has always done this for others. It's always been about, what can she achieve that is going to help other people. And of course, what happened to my auntie, my mum's sister, when she passed away, she didn't want her death to be in vain. So she's remembering her and honouring her life as well, honouring her so that other people don't have to feel that their only way out of this situation is in the way that my auntie took her own life.
It's really hard for me to know where to start to appreciate Jazz in my life and appreciate Jazz for who she is. In a few words, it's hard to put words to it really, but she has meant a great deal to me, not only because she was the first woman I met who was disowned not so far off from my time. I was disowned in 77. And Jazz wasn't disowned much many more years after me, I think 78, something like that. And there was no help then, no help, no one to talk to, and no way to articulate the shame that you felt. Jazz was the first person who made that okay for me to say this is how I felt, and to be able to allow me to talk, but also to validate my experience. And she is a part of me, in every way. She's a friend, and she's a support to me as a survivor as well. And she knows me better than I know myself sometimes. Just means a great deal to me, and I am so proud of all her achievements. Every day I think, wow, strong woman who's able to articulate, who's able to stand up for us, for almost the suffragettes we are.
She's not scared to speak out, and that's really inspiring for me. And to have someone who's in your corner, on your side, and we're with the wider Karma Nirvana family, it's amazing that we've got Jaswinder, the organisation, and you know, kind of there for you when your birth families couldn't be there, but you've got this new family, and Jaswinder has made that family possible.
Jaswinder has given me a support network, and with Karma Nirvana I feel like I've got a family, and with the Survivor Ambassador panel I'm with people that truly understand what it means to be a survivor. We're not alone, and I wouldn't have had that if it hadn't been for Jazz.
The whole trial took a year, and it was like having another sister at the side of you, just geeing you up and giving you that little push to say, don't give up now, keep going, keep going. The whole organisation, including Jazz and everybody who works for Karma Nirvana, they put their arm around you and they sort of like hold you and guide you through it.
And it's a bit like being part of a family that's not blood connection, but it's part of getting involved in being a family, and your story is your story, and it doesn't matter. You don't feel like you're weird or abnormal because it's your story. Because I left home at 13, ran away from Bradford, came to London, and I was completely disowned by my family. So when I read Shame, I didn't feel like I was on my own. I felt like there was somebody else out there, and if it was happening to Jazz, then I wasn't the only one.
Jaswinder's book, Shame, what a fantastic book. It's probably the first one in relation to forced marriage that I did ever read. As I read through it, I thought, what on earth have I got in common with this woman? But the one thing that I do have in common with her, we both had one of those awful perms in the 1980s and thought we looked fantastic. I don't know what you've done with your photos, Jaswinder, but none of mine will be going in a book. I can tell you that now.
I met Jazz a long time ago when we were doing a counselling course, and I got paired with her. So it's mentioned in the book. And when she said what she said about Robina, I went, yeah, I understand. And immediately I thought, how could you possibly? And then she went, how could you possibly? I thought, I deserve that. And really from there, we've been great friends.
She was a total inspiration to me, to Martin, and we both looked at her and looked upon her, should I say, as part of the family. KN became part of our family, and we did an awful lot to help Jazz, to help KN, because we really believed in what she was trying to do, and we wanted to support her as much as we could.
Okay, my story starts with Jazz back in 1998 when I attended her aerobics classes. From there, I became a volunteer because, as we all know, Jazz has this lovely knack of getting you to do things that you wouldn't do on a normal day. So I became a volunteer, then a trustee, and I even became the chairperson for Karma Nirvana. And I remember one story where I had to speak at a conference at Derby Playhouse, and I was very nervous. So she supported me to do that. And then after that, I joined the Karma Nirvana team. I was the information officer there, and we did a research project as well. And it went on from there. Then I was back on the board again. So that's 20 years of Karma Nirvana. In those 20 years, I've always called you Benji, which is sister. And that's what you've been to me in all that time. You've supported me in so many ways. I haven't got the time to actually go into every story, but you know what I'm talking about.
Throughout my 8 years at Karma Nirvana, Jaswinder has been a guide, not just professionally, but personally as well.
So I'm trying to remember when I first chased after Jazz. I read a brilliant interview with her. I think it was in the Saturday Times, but I'm not completely sure. But I rang her thinking, it's such an extraordinary story that she's telling. There must be about 300 people ahead of me in the queue. And there weren't. Mysteriously, I think people weren't concentrating. And she was exceptionally pleased that I'd called, which made me amazed. But she's so incredibly modest. And she came into my office, and it took about a minute and a half for me to realize that all I really needed to do was to put her in a room full of people because she was a star. She just gave off, and still does, this amazing warmth. But she's also fantastically articulate. She has that amazing ability to completely inspire a room full of people. And I've seen her in action now so often over the last decade or more, and she's never lost that. She's absolutely extraordinary, I think, and so incredibly selfless. The things that she's sacrificed for other people, many of whom, of course, are complete strangers, but they're people that she closely identifies with. She's my hero. I absolutely adore her.
So, 25 years. I can't believe what's more amazing. Is it the number of people you've helped over the years, or is the fact that you're actually stepping down? Because no matter what, you're leaving, but what you have done for a number of people in different ways, I'm sure others have spoken about it in more detail. Your support in helping me take through the legislative proposals during the criminalisation of forced marriage was invaluable. You were there for me. We had our ups and downs, and we even tried to convince the naysayers that it wouldn't work. It was with your help and guidance that I was able to put through proposals that actually made it work. And the results of that have been seen ever since, in terms of it's not stopped people coming forward. If anything, it's encouraged it more. So for that, I thank you immensely.
We first began working with Jasvinder when she came to visit the Mental Health Research Unit, which was an international unit looking at mental health problems, particularly shame. And so she came along and said, I've heard a little bit about your work. Did you know that shame was a big issue in Asian communities, particularly the concept of Izzard? And we said, no, we didn't really know that. We'd done a lot of studies on what we call internal shame, which is where people feel ashamed about themselves and they are self-critical, and also external shame, where people worry about being put down by others and being shamed by others. But this concept of Izzard was different. This was about bringing shame to others, bringing shame to your family and to your community. And so Jasvinder inspired some fantastic research, really. And we did a number of studies. One of the studies showed that in Asian students at the university, they had lower levels of internal shame, because that tends to be more of a Western shame, but higher levels of this concern about bringing shame to others, not doing well enough. So particularly, for example, worrying that if you don't do well enough in your degree, it's not so much this impact on you, but it's the fear of bringing shame to your family. So Jasvinder was incredibly influential for helping us recognize that shame is a multi-textured experience, really, and in some cultures it can be extremely powerful and be associated with depression and feeling trapped in relationships and needing to behave in ways that are fit in with the community and fear of being shamed by the community.
First started working with Jasvinder and Carmen Ivana in around 2007. We had become involved to try and take forward the training and help social workers, police, school staff, health staff to understand forced marriage. Jasvinder helped us put together the content for courses, helped us to challenge us really to make sense of the policies and procedures, to tell people what to do if they were coming across forced marriage.
I remember bumping into Jasvinder and a very small team then from Carmen Ivana, and she had muscled her way in, I would describe it, to what we then developed into the honour-based violence team. And we had a big conference in Glasgow, and I remember seeing this very sort of persuasive, powerful person, I would describe Jasvinder as, and I thought, I need to talk to this person and get some advice. And in just 10 minutes, quarter of an hour talking to her, I thought, wow, what knowledge and what commitment and passion. So from there really began a really good relationship between policing, Cheshire Police as well, but wider community, and Jasvinder's influence on changing the agenda, changing policy, and pulling agencies and sort of safety teams together to make a difference out there.
Jazz has become a big sister to me, someone who has become a real close friend to me, someone I can depend upon, and really she's become an important figure in my life, someone I'd aspire to be and find and take great inspiration from.
I've only known Jazz for a matter of a handful of years, and it's difficult to sum up a person that you've known very little for such a short period of time in a couple of words, but the words that spring to mind immediately to me are tenacious, because she's got this drive and she's got this enthusiasm and ambition to change things because of her poor experiences and the experiences, you know, that other people are having. And also this absolutely relentless energy that she has for educating young people and for getting into schools and colleges and community groups to make sure that they are aware of things that are going on. As an educator myself, I can see parallels in the type of work that we're trying to do. And I was absolutely blown away the very first time I met her. I was also felt quite intimidated because of the reputation of the woman as well. But having met her, spoken to her at length, we've even done a few conferences together. She is the most down-to-earth but brutally honest person. And I do think that the impact that she's had over a period of 25 years, which is a phenomenal amount of time to be involved in this sort of work, is just absolute testament to the skills, the ambitions, the energy and the enthusiasm of Jasvinder. I think she's a remarkable role model for young people, and I do hope that obviously Carmen Nirvana will go on with this work for many, many more years to come in order to bring this huge, complex issue to the forefront.
So it was back in 2010. I was sitting at my desk at Cosmopolitan magazine. We were working out who could be some amazing winners for our Ultimate Women of the Year awards. And this name came up. I thought, she's pretty amazing, Jasvinder. She got through the judging process, thought she was extraordinary. On the evening, she did a speech that literally had everybody's jaw dropping. She just owned the stage and owned the room. And she's been in my life ever since. We worked together in 2014 on a campaign for a day of memory for the victims of honour killings. If I didn't know before then, I knew after that Jasvinder is an unstoppable force. And I think the House of Lords are going to regret what they've taken on here, because she's taking no prisoners. Jazz, it's been great knowing you, and I feel really proud that you've become a friend as well. So congratulations on all your amazing work you've done, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Well, it's a great pleasure to be able to congratulate and to thank Jasvinder. She's one of the favourite heroines in my life. I have unbounded respect and affection for Jasvinder, as she's established Carmen Nirvana, which has provided such much, much needed support and help for women in very, very challenging situations. Her life enshrines both compassion and competence. Her compassion shines through her personality and her work. Her competence shines through the superb way in which she organises the support for people in such great need. It is a privilege to know Jasvinder and to call her a friend. The legacy of her work with Carmen Nirvana will be treasured for many, many years to come, and by many, many people. I wish her great happiness in all that lies ahead for her.
So what I'd like to say to you, Mum, is for the next leg of the journey, it's going to be exciting, I know that for sure. It's going to involve your grandchildren going to stay with you quite often, because I need some me time too. So they'll be coming over to see you now that you've got more time on your hands. And of course, I'm going to be part of that journey, as I am for the rest of your life. And I'm just so proud of you, and being able to be your daughter. I'm proud to call you my mum.
Carmen Nirvana's been going for 25 years and I've only existed for 21. So all I've ever known when I've thought about my mother is Carmen Nirvana. I want to thank you, Mum, on behalf of all those people that you've helped and all the people that you give strength to. I'm so proud of you, and you've inspired me throughout my life to go on and to do great things. Thank you for the platform that you've given me, and thank you for inspiring me each day.
Well, Jasvinder, I really hope you enjoy your retirement, although I can't imagine you retiring completely, but I'm sure Carmen Nirvana is going to miss your work and your drive and enthusiasm. And if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have a change in the law. So you have a lot to be proud of that you've achieved over the time that you've been working with Carmen Nirvana. And I'm so pleased to know you and to be a supporter of yours, complete supporter, because you just work so hard. So congratulations, and we're sorry to see you go.
I just want to say the biggest and most heartfelt thank you to Jazz.
a truly remarkable woman who, the first time that I met her when she was in front of me, in front of a bill committee, I just thought, that is a woman who I admire, who I want to know. So the fact that I can now count her as my friend is a remarkable thing.
Jasvinda, thank you very much for being amazing, for speaking out, being one of the first people in this country to speak out about an issue that has affected people, women, men, boys, girls, trans people, non-binary people across, you know, from across the world, but taking that difficult stand that you did all those years ago. Yeah, you're an inspiration, and lots of love.
Hi Jasvinda, just wanted to say a really big thank you for all your support and everything that you've helped me through, and with Carmen Nirvana and everything. It's been such a pleasure to be around you and campaigning with you and making changes, and I want you to wish you well, so good luck to the future, whatever you move on to.
Good luck with your future adventures, and I wish you all the best of luck for the future, and thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Jasvinda, I just really want to thank you, and I can't thank you enough for being that mentor and guide to me, both professionally and personally. And I just want to thank you for being so courageous and having the strength to start the journey, you know, start the journey for Carmen Nirvana. And please know that we as a team will now continue to take that from strength to strength. And I hope for you, you know, that you can now enjoy this time for yourself, because you very much deserve that. So thank you again.
But you have been amazing in everything that you've done throughout your career, and I'm sure that it doesn't stop now. Even though you're leaving KN, your legacy remains, and everything that you've done and the passion that you've shown us and the sector as a whole is something that will never be forgotten. So all the very best of luck with everything that you will be doing, and come back and visit us, stay in touch.
Jazz, I'd just like to say thank you for everything that you've done, everything that you're doing. You've been a real inspiration to myself and everyone that strives to find freedom and happiness in their lives. So thank you, Jazz.
Jazz, I just want to thank you hugely for agreeing to let me be your agent, to let me be so involved with your brilliant books, and to let me share in your fantastic success, which is so wonderfully well deserved. And every obstacle that's put in your way deserves to be trampled over. You are amazing. Thank you.
So Jasvinda, first of all, thank you for saving so many lives, for changing lives, and for making the environments out there a far better place for the general public, and most importantly, those most at risk.
Jasvinda, 25 years is such a massive achievement. Well done, congratulations. I hope you have a fantastic retirement, but I don't think you'll be able to switch off from this line of work. It's such a specialist area, you've done so much for so many people, and you are a brilliant inspiration to us and to the victims that you've supported. So best of luck and lots of love, and I'm sorry I can't be there tonight.
I cannot say thank you enough again for taking me to New York to go and meet Angelina Jolie, to be in agreement with Angelina Jolie and talk about an issue as serious as this. I think it's a credit to you that you felt me responsible enough to actually go and speak about an issue that I was relatively new to, but you supported me and you helped me, and it's through the strength that you've given me that I've been able to go on and stay with the unit for the length of time I did. You'll be sorely missed, as I said. And I talked about you being a critical friend at the beginning. I've taken the critical out of that now. You are more than a friend, you're actually like family. And for that, I'm eternally indebted to you. So have a great evening and hopefully see you soon.
From a personal point of view, I should also say that you were also incredibly enthusiastic, full of energy. And of course, your own life story is one of extraordinary courage to come out in the way that you did, to talk about the issues of honour in your community and the way that honour can be good, but it can also cause so much misery within communities. So, to be honest, I think we owe you an enormous debt of gratitude for your enthusiasm, for your intellect, for bringing these concepts under a research focus. And as I say, I can't thank you enough, and hope to meet up with you again soon.
I just wish you all the best for whatever your next adventures hold. Keep in touch, and I love you lots.
So Jazz, I'd just like to say, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I mean that, and that's on behalf of my whole family, including the kids that you've not seen yet, but I'm sure one day you will. And by the way, that curry invite for you and John still stands. So there's a curry waiting in Bradford for you, and I'll give you the address.
And Jazz, all I want to say, Martin and I regarded you as family, and for both of us, I want to thank you for being you, for everything you stand for and everything that you do. Love you.
So Jazz, to you from my heart, thank you so much for our friendship and all the years that have meant so much to me. You enrich my life, and I hope that you go on to have a far, far greater and more abundantly rich life going forward. Thank you for everything you've done, sweetheart.
As the founder of Carmen Ivana, you will always remain with that legacy title, and you are a global phenomena, and I thank you, my dear sister.
In the words of Rumi, a lovely spiritual man from Turkey, I'd just like to say, because I know you like your spiritualism, let the beauty of what you love be what you do. And on that note, I'd like to say thank you so, so much, Jazz, for everything you've done. We're so proud of you. You're so inspirational, and you've got so much more to give. Thank you.